Jay and welcome to the channel and welcome to Sorna Emergent Biopark in Jurassic World Evolution, a project where we're aiming to build a biologically accurate dinosaur park and preserve with the use of mods. Of course, this is our new biopark which we just started a week ago, and I'm already very excited to bring you our second species today, which is going to be a Gorgosaurus, courtesy of the modder Wheat, who's made a beautiful creature here. Absolutely gorgeous, love the coloration, love the model. And it's a very interesting species as well. It is, of course, a smaller Tyrannosaur from the late Cretaceous in North America, living kind of, not too far off from where Alberta Ceratops specimens were found, which is, of course, the species we used in the last episode. And I thought it'd be nice to include them both here. We are going to kind of stick to the kind of formation kind of method of grouping our animals together. So, of course, these areas of the park are going to be centered around kind of localities. And I think the localities in which both Gorgosaurus and Alberta Ceratops were found are really interesting ones with a lot of animal diversity. So we definitely have quite a lot of room to explore here. So, in today's habitat build, which is going to be a relatively short one, I'm thinking I might do some longer ones in the future, have them more... how do I put it? Slightly more, maybe more live play type situation so that I can be in the game and talk you through my build as we go forward. So that might be fun. So we'll see how next week's episode goes. But as you can see, just over here we're building a little viewing kind of center. I love the fact that we can clip buildings together, which means we can make these really cool like extended viewing galleries with a viewing tower above, which I imagine you'd go up to if you wanted more of a bird's eye view of the kind of the whole area rather than just this habitat. And of course, we're just working on the fencing here. The Gorgosaurus habitat will have that river going through it. In fact, a lot of habitats will, which I think will look and end up looking really nice as we progress through the park as a whole. That whole river idea, I think, will look quite nice as we go forward. Of course, lots of rock work. I just love that we can clip together rocks now because it allows us to create some really cool rock formations. And really just makes the area look more full. Like it looks like there's a little rocky valley which the river kind of carves through, and it works so well. And then we do little things like this, which are just working the fencing around a little bit. And again, being able to clip things together means that we can put the fencing in really interesting positions, like here. And then, but I thought this left a little bit of a weird opening. Of course, this is a massive predator that we're about to put into this habitat. You don't want guests to be able to access their habitat, it's not exactly the safest of places to be. So the fence is a bit short here, but we end up doing a little bit of a workaround so that it's kind of blocked off, that little area in front of the viewing gallery. So we put in a little fence there in a bit, and it looks a lot nicer as well. We haven't started really building outside of this main street area yet. These are all kind of the more early habitats that you'd see almost as soon as you enter the first kind of leg of the park here. So very early on in your kind of journey throughout this Sorna Emergent Biopark. And yeah, I've been having a lot of fun building in this park. It's just been a really great time. I love the new creativity we get from all these new plant specimens. It's really quite nice, and it's just it's been lots of fun. Anyways, here's us building the habitat out a little bit. Just kind of shaping it out. I didn't want it to be as square as the previous one was, but at the same time I didn't want it to, just be too, like, weirdly shaped, if that makes any sense at all. But I find that it doesn't really matter what shape they are if you're going to end up using invisible fencing and, like, elevation and stuff to mess around with the barriers. So I think it ends up looking fine. And, using these elevated areas and kind of making the habitat itself kind of sunken somewhat just ends up making the whole thing look a lot more naturalistic, a lot more nicer. And I just think overall it works a little bit better. Here, as you might be able to tell today, the footage is actually not sped up by an awful lot. It's only sped up like 2 or 3 times, which usually I speed them up by like 5-6 times. Just to make them a little bit shorter. But of course, because these builds are pretty quick sometimes, especially when it's just a habitat, these builds can be very fast. I thought I might as well speed it up a bit less, have a slow run through of this habitat, and we can just chat and, just kind of enjoy ourselves without kind of rushing through the habitat build. And that's what I'm thinking in the coming episodes. I might just do a little bit more of like a live play type situation where I just build a habitat in real time and kind of talk you through the process. I'm not super accustomed to doing videos like that, so there might be some growing pains there, but if it works out, it could be a lot of fun, I think. So I'll be sure to I'll let you guys know, of course, if I decide to go that route. You'd see it in the video, so we'll see how it all pans out. Anyways, I'm loving this new dinosaur I'm adding in here, Gorgosaurus. Gorgosaurus isn't represented in media an awful lot. I think the last time I saw it was in the 2013 Walking with Dinosaurs movie, which of course is not super related to the documentary of the same name in 1999. It was meant to be kind of like this epic film with dinosaurs, and you'd see them coexisting and living, but then I think somewhere along the way it got repurposed into what essentially was just a kind of like an animated kids film, and it's a little bit I could see a lot of potential that was kind of missed out on there. But the movie itself is still beautiful. Visually it's stunning, and it has some beautiful animal designs. The Tyrannosauruses were gorgeous. The Gorgosaurus was absolutely beautiful in that movie. It had this beautiful iridescent coloring. In the mod that we're using today, it's gotten really nice coloring as well. I used two, I think. One which is a lovely kind of coffee color, and another one which is more like a silvery white, which is really nice. But yeah, I think that's the only representation of Gorgosaurus I can think of off the top of my head. There might have been more. In fact, did Planet Dinosaur do one of those episodes? I don't know. There might be more, but that's all I can think of. But one thing I always found really interesting about animals like Gorgosaurus and other kind of late Cretaceous Tyrannosaurs that existed before T-Rex itself, they kind of coexisted with each other in a weird way. Really interesting things. For example, Gorgosaurus and Albertosaurus are quite similar, but they also coexisted with Daspletosaurus, which is another tyrannosaur. And that is just kind of fascinating to have these two massive apex predators that kind of coexisted to an extent. And maybe, the idea is that there might be some sort of niche partitioning there, where one would be more specialized for a certain other type of prey, and maybe, for example, you have maybe a chunkier Daspletosaurus hunting much larger prey specimens, or more difficult things like ceratopsians or ankylosaurs, whereas Gorgosaurus maybe is a bit more lithe and a little bit more speedy, and might have hunted more like hadrosaurs and things like that. But still so cool to see evidence of such an interesting kind of dichotomy there. Here you can see me starting to add the foliage in, similar in vibe to the last one, kind of. I'm using some of these big cedar trees which look really good, but also of course really going heavy with the bamboo, because that's kind of just I'm in love with bamboo. Probably not super realistic to the formation itself. This river probably was a lot more temperate back in the day, and bamboo was not really that much of a thing. I think because bamboo is a type of grass, and there wasn't really much grass during the Mesozoic, so dinosaurs would not have seen bamboo most likely, but it's still a nice bit of foliage, and I think it looks beautiful here. So I think it fits. Obviously, as we go through the park, different habitats will have different types of foliage, and I will start to use different ones to start theming out different areas a little bit better. For example, if we do have a Cretaceous Mongolia section, which I think we will have, with things like Tyrannosaurus and stuff like that, or maybe even Velociraptor and stuff, that I'll try and keep that quite arid looking, quite a bit more dry. But then if we have, for example, a Cretaceous Africa section, Cretaceous North Africa section specifically, I think of course we'd want to make that quite a wet environment, quite swampy, because of things like Spinosaurus and Tyrannosaurus, Suchomimus, all those animals. So that will look pretty cool, I think. Anyways, we are coming up to the end of the episode here. Most of the foliage over here is finished. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you've been enjoying this series as a whole. I know this one is a short episode, but going forward, I think the episodes will be a bit chunkier, because I think I will kind of switch more into that real-time play aspect, so that'll be more fun. But if you come out to the cinematics here, you'll be able to see some really cool shots about Gorgosaurus. I think it looks stunning. And in the next episode, I'll make sure to go, if we do a live play, of course, I think I'll go through both of these first habitats as well, just to show you the creatures in real time as well, and see what they've been up to, basically. I think they both are really great starting creatures here. Wheat did a fantastic job on the Gorgosaurus. LA Studios did fantastically with the Albertoceratops. So, you know, I'm just looking forward to continuing this on. In the next episode, I've already planned out which dinosaur to use, but please feel free to leave suggestions on what you want to see in this park, any mods in particular you'd really like me to feature, anything I might have missed. Please do let me know. As always, the description will have links to the mods. And yeah, as always, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for all your support. Please do like the video if you did like today's video. Do subscribe for more Jurassic World Evolution content. And as always, I will see you all in the next video. Bye!